past year? So I just want to give you a moment to ponder that. I'm going to grab something, so go ahead. As you consider these your answers to these questions, what did you struggle with or struggle in the past year? Or what disrupted your peace, trust, and joy in the past year? What I want to do is just invite you to locate these blue prayer cards. Mandy mentioned it just a moment ago. They should be in the little seat pocket directly in front of you. If you're on the front row, they're directly behind you. You can reach and grab one out. If you will, because I've asked you to, grab one of these out. There should be a pen that's nearby that should write and work. We try to test all the pens. And what I want to do is just invite you to take a moment and use the pen and this blue card to capture whatever it was that you struggled with or in, or whatever disrupted your peace, your joy, or your rest in 2016. And you can capture it under the section that says I'm asking for, because what I want to do is just invite us together to acknowledge that there were things that got in our way in 2015 that we don't want to get in our way in 2016. And this little act is an act of surrender because we acknowledge what it might have been. We put it down on the card, and if you're willing, you can write it out as a prayer request if you want to put it into a sentence. But for a lot of us, it might just materialize as a word. For me, it's fear. That's the thing I wrestled with in 2015. That was the thing that was in the middle of my road. And I can go back and just point to 3 or 4 significant events, like when my daughter had an unknown diagnosis and we were trying to figure out what was wrong with her. The only thing I was gripped by was fear. It wasn't trust. It wasn't hope. And that was a barrier for me in 2015, and I don't want that to be in my way as I make my way in 2016. So I just want to give us some space to just do a little business with God. And if you're willing, my sermon readers wanted me to make sure that you knew that if you were willing, we'd be willing to pray with you for this, to stand with you and ask the Lord to clear 2016 out of whatever it is that you acknowledge on the card. So let's just take a moment and jot that down. You know, praying like this, acknowledging what might have been in the way in 2015 is an act of faith. And we're going to join our prayers to yours and just see what the King will do as he releases his kingdom in our midst. You know, 92% of us fail at our New Year's resolution. Sorry to, burst your bubble right there. And 50% of us give up by the end of January. We fail because we don't understand how transformation occurs. On average, it takes 66 days to form a new habit. What would it look like if we took 66 days to increase our trust? 66 opportunities where, given an opportunity to, surrender, to run, to flee, instead we decide to trust. what would that look like? It's almost like, you watch these movies or these activities. The writer and creator of Grey's Anatomy and How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal, Shonda Rhimes, she used to say no to everything. Everything. Any invitation, any award, any interview, she just said no to. And I was listening to an interview with her and Terry Gross on NPR's Fresh Air, and she just decided one year that she was going to have a year of yes. So that no matter what invitation it was, she was going to try her best to say yes. I am not inviting you to do that because you might get yourself into some serious trouble. But what I am inviting you to do is to consider when there's an opportunity to fear, to retreat, what would it look like to trust instead? And practicing trust instead of practicing what it is we are already doing, where we might already be stuck. See, when people decide to change something, they believe that they can do it just as a matter of willpower. And we set aside and we set apart to try to change a behavior, except we don't change as a matter of will. Remember, transformation happens one action at a time, one step at a time, and it starts with our surrender. Jesus says these words in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest," he says. Verse 29, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Because my burden is light and my yoke is easy," he says. This is why I say that transformation is about surrender, because we have to be willing to believe something ourselves that Jesus teaches us. We aren't who we think we are. It's hard to accept what Jesus is offering as true unless we're willing to take seriously the possibility that what we presently believe is not true. Let me say that again. It's hard to accept what Jesus is offering as true unless we are willing to take seriously the possibility that what we presently believe is not true. At our best, our will is just a decision point in the process of our transformation. It's the place of our desire. The will, if you will, is like a compass if you like geocaching, right? It's the thing that you need before you can find your treasure, because it points us in the right direction. The compass, our will, points the way, but we have to do something in order to get there.